December 16, 1944. A German Panzer army is massing in these woods, aimed through the snow at the sea. Standing in its path, on one low ridge above a Belgian village, are 18 American soldiers in a line of foxholes. By nightfall, they will have broken the timetable of Hitler's last great offensive. It will cost them everything. Rewind. This is the Losheim Gap, on the German frontier, a 2-mile seam where the American line simply stops. It falls between 2 corps and 2 divisions, so no one truly holds it. It is watched by a single jeep, and it is exactly where Germany has aimed the spearhead of a surprise attack by 250,000 men. So how do 18 riflemen hold a door this wide? To watch that seam, the 394th Infantry sent forward its intelligence and reconnaissance platoon, 18 men under a 20-year-old Lieutenant Lyle Book. Their post, a ridge in the tree line above the village of Lanzerath. For 5 days they deepened the foxholes another unit had left behind and waited on the snow. The position is simple and lethal. Below them an open field climbs 100 yards to a single barbed wire fence, and every rifle and machine gun is zeroed on that wire. Caught in with them is a 4-man artillery team and its radio, the platoon's one thread to the guns far behind. Snow buries the foxholes until they vanish. At 5:30, the sky splits open. The whole German front erupts at once, the opening barrage of the Battle of the Bulge. It grinds across the forest for over an hour, and when it lifts, the platoon's phone line to headquarters is cut. They are alone, and down the road, out of the dark, boots are coming. First light. Up the road into Lanzerath marches a full battalion of German paratroopers, some 500 men bound for the open gap beyond. 18 Americans watch them come and do not fire. Bauk lets the head of the column walk straight into the village below him and waits for the rest. Then the paratroopers turn off the road and start up the open slope, and the whole platoon opens fire at once. Interlocking machine guns catch them at the wire, in the snow, with nowhere to hide. The first attack is shredded. They form up and come again, and a third time, straight up the same field, and each time the line breaks them. The artillery team calls fire the entire time, and almost none comes. The ridge sits just outside the division's boundary, and the guns are answering other men in other fields. A few shells fall near the road, and no more. There is no ring of steel over Lanzerath. Here the 18 are the artillery. By mid-afternoon, the Soms have turned against them. Ammunition is low, and man after man is hit. Book radios battalion and asks to pull his platoon back. The answer comes straight back down the wire. Hold at all costs. Reinforcements are promised. None arrive. He sends 2 men to fetch them. Both are taken prisoner before they reach the line. Still they hold. The field below the wire is now a wreck of the attacker's own. But the short winter day is running out, on ammunition, on daylight, and on luck. And in the woods, off to their flank, unseen, the paratroopers have finally stopped trying the open field. At 3:50, the radio man sends the platoon's last message, still holding. Moments later, a sniper's bullet smashes the radio from Book's hand. The one thread to the rest of the army is gone. 18 men, nearly out of bullets, watch the last light drain out of the sky. At dusk, the paratroopers stop coming up the middle. They come through the trees, onto the flank, and up out of the woods behind the foxholes. One hole at a time, the line is rolled up. The 18 are dragged out at bayonet point. After a whole winter day, the ridge is finally taken. The cost was terrible on both sides. Every man of the platoon was captured, nearly all of them wounded, and 1 American was killed. And a paratroop battalion had been bled white, taking a single line of foxholes held by 18 men. But the day was not free for the Germans either. The paratroopers, blooded and shaken, would not push on into the dark. And jammed on the road behind them sat the armor meant to race for the Meuse, the tanks of SS Colonel Joachim Peiper, going nowhere. Peiper, furious, only forced his way through in the small hours. His column ran on the next day toward Malmedy, where his SS men murdered more than 80 American prisoners at a crossroads. The army would later credit the platoon with an 18-hour delay, one of several jams that wrecked the timetable of the whole northern attack. And that timetable was everything. The offensive had gambled on speed through this gap, and here, on the very first morning, it was already late. Within days, the attack in the north stalled for good. The Panzer army never reached the sea. The door the 18 were told to hold had held. That night, Lieutenant Buch sat wounded in a village café, a prisoner. And at midnight, he turned 21. 36 years later, in 1981, every man on that ridge was decorated, the most decorated American platoon for a single action of the war. Peiper's tanks, meanwhile, were already racing west, toward a bridge at Stavelot. That story is next.